those. That's going to be coming.
Oh. I kind of really like that intro, dude. Just like bangs so hard. Bing, 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 bing. It's good. What's up? We're live.
Oh, we're live right now?
Yeah, we're live. What's going on, everybody? We're here. We're happy, and we're gonna give you a show. We're gonna talk today about the importance of a brand.
Yeah, so my name's Lewis May, and this is Riley Seberg. And we're the founders of Hammer Sport Marketing, and we're going to take you on a little story today, probably about kind of how we learned some of this stuff. And we're going to tell you about a brand. What is a brand, and how can you get a brand? Why do you want a brand? And what do you do with a brand once you have one? So those are the questions that I pose to us.
So first, we have to talk about what is a brand.
Well, I think before we even get into that, Riley, let's talk about us, our company, and why are we doing this in the first place? You know, the quick introduction to people, who we are, and why are we sitting here talking about this in the first place?
Well, this is another episode of the Marketing 101 podcast. So thank you once again for tuning in. And Lewis and I have been trying to educate the marketing industry on the proper ways to really build businesses and market them for the 21st century. I think that when I got into this, I've been noticing that first I tried to work in the industry, and then I realized that working inside the industry isn't really serving people, and that like we actually kind of have to help lead the industry to really bring people to where we think they need to go, right? So businesses that help other people, that actually believe in their community, that provide services that move their community forward. That's what we're interested in, right? Goods and services that help people, that make their lives better, that improve them in some way, shape, or form. And
yeah, so Riley and I essentially had the same epiphany that these digital marketing tools are awesome and they're super powerful, and that being on the internet and marketing yourself in a digital manner is an absolute necessity. And being that we care about our communities and we enjoy caring about the other small businesses in the community, we want to make sure that those companies and people and families not just survive, but thrive. And so we understand that this is not optional. Like, this isn't something that you should think about and that, maybe do this in the next 10 years. This is something that if a business doesn't take these things into consideration about the internet and the digital age and the digital marketing tactics that are available to everyone, if they don't take this into consideration, they're not going to make it through the next decade. So we're serious about it. So we've worked really, really hard to educate ourselves about many, many different aspects of more than just what the products are and how they work, but really deep into them of why they work and when we're supposed to use them to ensure the success of our clients.
So the purpose of this episode of the podcast is to educate you guys, basically, whether you're in the industry or you're a business owner or you're just trying to start your career, on what a brand actually is, so that you can start off on a solid foundation. Because what I noticed is that my foundation was incredibly shaky when I started off, because I had no education on a brand. And when I was educated on it, I wasn't educated that this is what a brand is. So I was just educated that this is a part of marketing. we don't really talk about it, but you have to do it. And if you don't do it, then like you're probably not going to be good. But like, by the way, here's digital marketing. Like that's typically how it's presented. So it's good that we're going and delving deep into this.
So what we're going to delve deep into is, what is the difference between a small business with 10 employees, a fully operational company, versus that same company that has a brand, like has a truly legitimately identified brand. And what does that mean? What are the things that you need to have for a brand?
Well, does a brand even have anything to do with how many employees you have?
Yes. What constitutes a brand, and what do people right now think a brand is, and what it really is a brand, and that. So we're going to go through this progression of what is a brand, what does it mean to have a brand, how would you get a brand, why do you want a brand, and then we're going to discuss that if you have a brand, how does it get used? So in other words, what do you use this brand for? And part of this topic the whole time is going to be, look, when you talk to experts in the industry and anyone who is deep into helping businesses grow through marketing, they're going to adamantly agree, yes, you need to have a brand, and branding is super important. But then they're going to move on with marketing. So why does everybody say that brand is so important, but yet nobody does it on a large scale? So why is that happening, and why have we found ourselves in the current environment? So those are the topics of discussion for today. Riley, let's kick it off, man. What's a brand?
And a brand is I've been going through a lot of like one-liners in my head over the last couple of weeks, and I've been kind of shooting them out. But I would say, to sum all those one-liners up, a brand is everything that a group of people are doing in a marketplace that is proof, right? It's the proof. It's the thing that is actually done, right? So it's not necessarily marketing, and it's not necessarily your product, but it's the actual impact that is made in a marketplace by somebody trying to make a business move, right? And it's all of those things together. It's not one impact. It's every single time the business tries to make an impact. When those things are all tied together, that's what a brand is.
So I think I like where you're going with that. To clarify that statement, which I've heard this from other people, is a brand isn't what you intend people to know about you. A brand is what they think about you after you did what you did.
So a brand is the action that you did, because that's always
that's the branding.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
So it's only branding if it's an intentional action.
Okay. The brand is what you do. And
yeah, like if so, GE, perfect example. GE in our area has a terrible brand because they left PCBs in the Hudson River, and they trashed the Hudson River, so we can no longer use the river, right? We can't fish from the river.
Yeah. So, and that wasn't, they didn't do that on purpose. I mean, they maybe put the poison in there on purpose, but they didn't mean to influence the community's thinking of them by doing that.
No way. It definitely wasn't intentional. And actually, they tried to reverse the intention by running like a $20 million campaign ad, TV ad on how they'll fix the Hudson River, right? Yeah. How GE can engineer the Hudson River. So that's what I'm actually getting at. It's not the intentional effort. Like if you look at like what most people do in the world, they say that most of their life isn't like what they're actually trying to do. It's like it just so happens to be their life, right? That's what a brand is. It's the life of a business, okay? Yeah. And so it's your marketing efforts can help you in branding, right? And you always want to do that, but it goes deeper than that. And so then you have to look at like, okay, so what are the components of the things that make up the brand, right? And then that's when you really start figuring out what a brand is.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So in the case of GE, they just didn't take they didn't take into account that some of their actions would have a determination on their brand far into the future, and that it would be an irreversible brand in a certain community due to these actions. And so it's a good lesson that your brand is always in jeopardy, that you have to guard your brand and be really protective of your brand once you form it, so because it can be under attack by other things. So we want to talk about what do people we know or businesses in our communities, what do they want to do? What does it mean to have a brand for them, and how would they go about getting it? Like, let's take that down from a real big, like huge, like enterprise level company, and how brands are dealt with, to a small business level, and how brands are dealt with in the local community.
So you know, you say it best, a brand is a reputation, right? But if you look at a reputation isn't just what people think of you, right? So it's not just what people think of you. It's like, well, why does that person think of you that way? Okay, well, did you do anything that led to that person thinking that way? Okay, so then you got to look at the actions and the intentions in the marketplace. Okay, and that's what really come up with a brand. So we have a bunch of core pillars that we have to make sure that we hit 7 or 8 of them in order for us to say, okay, that's a brand. But it can be anything. It really can be, right? It's just we use those because we know they're really solid.
Well, because we know it's a way to build a brand without using ongoing human labor.
Exactly. It's
a way that you're saying here, and ways brands are often built in the past, where you would just get a 10-person sales force, and you would train them all really well to say the same thing, so that they were always saying that, look, our vacuum cleaners have this kind of quality, craftsmanship.
So they stay on brand.
So they stay on brand, and then your brand becomes built by one person-to-person interaction through time. And it's built by those 10 salespeople until they turn over into the next salespeople in that region. And that is multiplied and scaled across the country, and a brand is built.
Right. So it's people to people, yep. One person at a time, right? And whether that person left a note on your mailbox, whether that person took a shit in your driveway, whether that person greets you at the front door and asks you how your kids are, they're going to leave an impact. And if they're representing an organization, then they're branding, right? So
and if they're not, they're still branding for their own household. They're branding for door number 528 on Street F.
Right.
That guy's nice, and the next guy over branded himself as an asshole.
Right. Just like they say, you're always selling. You know, like you're always branding. You're always you're always leaving a representation of who you are and what you're trying to do, whether you like it or not. Right?
Yes.
And so
now we're getting into something I think is important. Like, I like to make the distinction of why did we come up with the word brand? And now I'm leading, you kind of led me into this part of the conversation, is people have personalities that we remember, and that's their brand. We don't even call a person their brand. We're starting to now. And the brand is like the personality of the company.
Exactly.
And so the difference then, remember I posed the question, what's the difference between a company with X amount of people that does Y and doesn't have a brand, to the company that does the exact same thing, has the same amount of people, but does have a brand? And so here's what I was getting at is, this first company that doesn't have a brand, all they ever talk about is what they do and how they do it. That's all you'll ever hear. And it gets old really, really fast. And it also is attached to the negative stigma of a company is formed for the sole purpose of making money. And you have what is a brand, but is considered a very undesirable brand, which is a company that only talks about what they do and has a stigma of only caring about money. And so this discussion is us today saying how important it is to not be that company with that brand. And so the way to do that is to follow a specific and most likely complex set of rules to develop a group of statements, ideas, and ideas that formulates your brand to describe it and give it personality above and beyond.
So it's statements, ideas, and values.
Statements, ideas, and values. Thank you. Perfect.
Statements, ideas, and values are the core building blocks of a brand.
And so the benefits of this can now be discussed endlessly, of comparing these two situations of, do you want to be the salesperson that works for the company that only talks about what they do? Or would you like to be the salesperson for a similar company that has a fully developed brand that discusses how they came into this industry, who the founders were, why the founders did what they did in the first place, why the employees now continue that effort? Has that changed from then to now? Is there something that this company is doing for society that has a bigger meaning than just selling their stuff? What are the emotions that the people in the company that do what they do, what are their emotional rewards from doing this job or creating this product or service? So now we're getting into what a brand can be. It can be a vision of something the founders really like mountains or oceans or man-made things. So it can be a combination of symbols that the owner likes, along with other statements, ideas, and values to give it a personality. So why does this work?
Why this works is because people expect to do business with people, right? They don't expect to do business with a nameless, faceless entity.
This brand is giving the company personality above and beyond an entity, a non-human entity. So it's the brand is what allows you to build a company and build an entity, build a brand that can have and create an emotional connection with the leaders, the employees, the prospects and clients, and the community. And when you create an emotional connection, that means you're bringing value in other ways as well. So you're bringing value to the people around you and the people you're dealing with, and you're explaining how you bring that value to more people to grow your business.
This is why a lot of the best companies adopt a highway, right? So a lot of the companies that really get it, you'll see that a lot of times they adopt a highway on the side of the road. And like those companies, if you Google them, they're almost always doing well. They almost always have a story. Like they just get it, right? Because people connect with stories. People love when somebody has a history, right? They appreciate that. So even if you do have a bad reputation, at least you have a reputation, right? So like people appreciate that, and at least they're looking. Most people always expect the best in other people. So even if you do have a bad reputation, people still expect you to turn it around. Right? So you always want to go through the work of building a brand, because if you don't, then people will sniff you out as a fraud, and you're actually going to have what do they call it? imposter syndrome, right?
So so you're getting into something that I want to cover in a little bit. So first, let's get over that. That's getting into why you would want a brand. And I love where you're going with that. Let's finish this topic so we can move to that, was how do I get a brand? So here's how you get a brand. You gotta find somebody who knows what they're doing and knows how to build a brand. But then not only knows how to build the brand, but knows how to use what they build to help benefit and grow your business. So down at the end of this conversation, what I also meant to talk about is how does this progress? Like, how does this actually help your business right away? So we'll talk about that, the benefits. But that's what you also need to be discussing with whoever you choose to help you build a brand is, what are you going to do with this information once you create it, once you agree on it, once you decide that this is indeed the statements, ideas, and values that you want to represent your company.
I mean, the thing is like, you don't, like, everything that you struggle with when you're trying to get business, it's because you don't have a brand.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. If you had a brand, your marketing would be easy. Your content creation, that would be easy, right? Your
So there we
blogging would be
go. So
easy.
how I was getting at is, how do you get a brand? You need to attach yourself and team up with a company like ours or somebody that's capable of the similar things that we can do. So that's how you get a brand. If you don't know how this is done, then you need to seek out and find someone who does. So moving on, why do we want a brand? You were talking about how if you don't create some ideas to lead your company.
Hold on though, because we're
Go ahead.
On Friday, we're going live on Friday. We're doing a webinar. Like, we might as well use this to promote the webinar.
Yeah,
we'll post the link in the comments for the registration link for the webinar. We'll teach you exactly how to build a brand on Friday. Like, you don't actually have to have a company that can do it for you, right? So here's the secret, right? There's a formula, okay? We'll teach you.
We're going to give you the outline.
We're going to give you the outline to the formula on Friday so that you can fill in the blanks yourself and start building your brand right then and there. But here's the thing, right? I was given this formula 2 years ago, okay? But if Gary Vee puts it awesome, he says, if you fucking give me a basketball, I'm not going to be LeBron James, right? So just because you have the secret sauce doesn't mean you know how to use it, right? And so that's the thing is like, even if you can have the conversation about a brand, it doesn't mean that you understand where the footholds need to be placed so that the foundation is strong, right? And that's what we help you through.
Don't either. We certainly want you to. So we're going to give you the list. And if you take it and build $1 billion company, we love that. Hopefully you tell everybody that you got the list from us. But what we're also saying is, just because you have this list, this is not an easy process. So this lines up right along with everything else that our company believes in, which is great things don't come easy. They come with hard work and time.
Yeah. You know what's funny is here's actually, you know what, I want to riff on this a little bit because I've been noticing this a lot with just the people that I've been connecting with lately. And there seems to be something in the air of overnight possibilities, right? and I keep seeing this as a reoccurring theme in a lot of these people I'm connecting with. And I think it's really interesting because it's absolutely what I don't believe in, right? Like, I don't believe anything happens overnight other than like you get a good night's sleep
overnight and then not have
I've gotten fired overnight, you know what I mean?
So it is overnight change, but it isn't all the change that you're looking for.
No, it's definitely not the change that you hope and dream about, right? Like I mean, that if come on, man, if that stuff happened overnight, like, you'd be there already, right? Like, it's as simple as that.
So why do you build a brand for your company? This is great. You do it because it's going to be really successful, but you do it for fulfillment.
Well, hold on, because the title of this presentation is actually how to build a brand that lasts for decades.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you do it so that you have something that will last because your life is long, right? Like,
And
and the 15 minutes of fame that most people go through isn't enough to build wealth for the long term, let alone for your family.
And everything that's fulfilling takes time to build and time to create.
And what else are you going to be doing?
Yeah. What else? Like, you have the rest of your life. What are you going to do?
Unless you're going to go get a job. And in that case, like, we're not going to help you build a brand. Right? Like, this is for people who are trying to build their companies or build the companies that they work for, right? That's what we're doing here. So you got to take that risk. And I know that a lot of people watching this have either taken the leap lately or have been forced to take the leap, right? And so we're here to tell you, like, we've been leaping for the last 20 years, right? And it's fun. Like, you eventually you catch the stride and you start skipping and hopping, and that's when you have a brand, man. Like, it's kind of that simple, but it's long and effortful.
Yeah, very intentful with lots of focus. That's for sure. So,
and people recognize it too. Like, this is the thing.
And what a brand is consistency.
Right. And when you start believing in yourself, then people recognize that you believe in yourself and they start believing you. And that's when your brand starts getting credibility.
Yeah, that's what a brand is about, is building credibility. It's actually, a brand is actually a part of the sales process. The initial beginning, the first couple steps of a sales process. So, it starts that communication with your future clients and future employees. So yeah, we really believe in it. We know that it is a key element, and we see how little it's done these days properly, because you see so many people talking about what they do and how they do it. And so anytime you see that, and the majority of that, you know that there's lack of brand, because they're not telling any story. They're not talking about, why am I here and why do I do this, And to us, I mean, so let's get into the why we would want a brand, and one thing Riley was touching on is that it fills up spaces with ideas and statements and values. And so it doesn't leave things open for interpretation. And so what it does is it forms your culture. So many people think branding and having a brand is about selling product, when really the brand is everything that the company will ever do. So when you build statements, ideas, and values, you're not just doing this for the show to tell the world that this is what you do and then not doing it. It's actually the opposite of that. You build it so that you do it yourself in a consistent manner, and then you show the world that you are doing it. So what it does is two things. Well, it does one thing. It attracts people that appreciate what you're doing to you. They come to you because they see you doing it over and over in a consistent manner. And it attracts your employees and your future leaders to come and work with your company, because they want to be a part of things they like and something they see that's bigger than just making money, i.e., how we're going to change the world with what we do. And it also builds your culture inside, because then those people come and become employees and become team members, and they administer those statements, ideas, and values within the company on top of the people that were already there doing that already. And your culture gets stronger and stronger.
And the key is consistency. This is what Andy says, right?
Yeah.
The key is consistency.
Consistency. So you can't be consistent if you don't all agree on a set of statement, ideas, and values. And so the founding team builds these things and agrees on them as they build them and agree on them. And then everybody else agrees on them when they come and decide to work for you or
Right,
else
right,
they
right. Or they
work
leave.
for you, or
Yeah.
they leave.
Yeah.
And so it is it's actually a
A
brand
brand is the perfect defensive tool for
and
your
offensive.
business. It's the perfect chess move, right?
It's quite possibly the only perfect organizational structure in business and human relationship that I've come across ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only one that I can't find a flaw in.
But it's also the only one that's the most destructive if it's left to unintention.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you don't build your brand will build whatever it wants.
Yeah. Like the story we told about GE in the beginning is a perfect story. And we can point to 1,000 different companies across America that have unintentionally tarnished their brands through the consequences of their actions because they didn't put in the time and effort to figure out what their values really were as a company. And because of that, they never had anything to fall back upon.
Yep.
Times got hard.
I thought of another reason why you want a brand. So look, as marketers and that come from sales, remember I'm a digital marketer that has 20 years of terrestrial sales experience. So sitting in people's homes, talking to them about their problems and coming up with solutions.
That just makes me think of the aliens, man.
Yeah. So
I've had 20 years of extraterrestrial sales.
So we're trying to stay on topic here, but we're losing it now. I was thinking about why brand.
Brand is the silver bullet that you're looking for. It's the thing that it's the thing where it's like, man, I wish that how come my company can't how come like why is this so easy for this guy, or like how come my competition is killing me, like all these things. It's because brand, right? It's the thing that you're not doing, right? It's the thing that you're being unintentional about that's hurting you, right? Because it's always the places that you're unwilling to look that are causing you the most harm. But it's also the places that you're unwilling to look that show the most opportunity too, right?
It's all the brand is the truth. So all we do is bring out a deep truth that's taking place inside a business already. And it's the one part that they're not showing that they should have been. And it's the part that it actually makes people go, wow, I like what you guys are doing. And says, you know, there's another reason I'm going to do business with you guys above and beyond. So I remember where I was going is as marketers, we're not so unrealistic that we don't ever say things like marketing is going to take your business times 500. Marketing is supposed to be the advantage above and beyond your normal sales processes and what you do to make money as a business. It's that little above bonus that adds 20% more people to it every year, on and on. The real money that a company makes is in taking care of their customers, not adding new ones. Okay. So, we're not one of those get rich quick scheme marketing companies that lies about direct response campaigns.
Yeah, we're not MLM.
Changing your business like instantly. Okay. That's direct response. We know how to do direct response and we use it.
And we're definitely not selling clicks.
Yes. So what I'm getting at here is we understand that it's really about loyal customers and creating loyal customers, which means it's about treating your customers correctly, which is also, lo and behold, a great way to do that is build an awesome brand that has an awesome culture, that creates an awesome culture for its employees based around taking care of their clients.
You know what Gary said in Jab, 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 Right Hook? I think it was chapter 9. It was like the best marketing strategy ever or some shit like that. You know what it is?
Take care of your clients?
No, it's one word.
Care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, that's why branding is so powerful, is because it's not even just a marketing tool. It's not a marketing tool. It's just being polite, first off, and like not just talking about your stuff, but it's the major tool that holds your whole company together, or can be. If you don't have it, then you don't have something to hold your company together. So I don't know. I mean, there's other ways to build culture without building a brand, but it'd be weird and awkward.
Yeah, I mean, this is you're setting yourself up for failure if you hear this conversation and you don't think about building a brand, like, and you don't think about where your brand can improve, and like it's that type of thing where it's like, man, you're really just you're doomed to fail, or you're guaranteed to succeed if you understand a brand, or if you don't understand a brand.
Yeah, exactly. So like, why would I want a brand? Because everybody who ever became successful financially understood how to get a brand. And so you want to as well.
So with that being said, Friday is the webinar. It is at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I posted a link in the comments. I'm using Restream, so it kind of came out weird, but the link is there. And I hope to see you guys there. And Lewis, you got anything else you want to say?
No, I know that one of the bonuses in this whole webinar that I'll share that's going to take place, it's not going to happen in the webinar, will be a bonus course on how to use this information instantly to start growing your business right away.
Yeah, there's your overnight success factor right there.
Yeah. There's your little, hey, what do I got? I got to get something out of this right away. What's in this for you? How can I use this information to start doing things that will grow my business right away?
So there's your bonus. How to grow your business in 30 days with a takeaway from the webinar. And that's pretty much it. That's all we got for you guys. So make sure you go right now, click on that link, sign up. There's a limited number of seats. And if you wait till Thursday, like, you're probably not gonna be able to get in. So that's all I got. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody.
Make sure you like it, like us, share this episode with somebody that you think might find it useful. Subscribe for more. And if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher or anything like that, please leave us a review so that other people will see what you think and they can make the determination on their own.
Yeah. And if you have questions, ask us questions on one of these platforms. We live to serve, and we'd love to answer your question,
If you're a business owner that just needs help right now, go to hammersportmarketing.com and get in touch with us.
All right. Thanks, Riley. Great job.